app, a little stretching. I wouldn't even call it yoga. I'd call it stretching. It's like even extra lazy yoga. The and there's the audio effects. What do we got? We got the cash register. Let's just test out the system here. Make sure everything's running. Okay, good. So, yeah, I just found all of the fantastic tweets I wanted to get to, and we're going to get into the biggest of the top headlines that people are tweeting at this very moment. But before we get into that, does anybody have a particular story that they're excited about? Or we're just going to jump into the pool head first without looking? Okay, let's jump in. The top story at this very moment is the Justice Department in the U.S. says that 27 U.S. attorney offices had at least one employee's Microsoft email account breached by Russian hackers in the second half of 2020. The Russian hackers behind the massive SolarWinds cyber and espionage campaign broke into email accounts. This coming from AP. I'm going to tweet it out, as we always do, to the Tech News Twitter account at TNATW, so that you can read along or save it or retweet it or what have you. And this article says, the Russian hackers behind the massive SolarWinds espionage campaign broke into email accounts of some of the most prominent federal prosecutors' offices around the country last year, that the Justice Department said yesterday. The department said 80% of Microsoft email accounts used by employees in 4 U.S. attorney offices in New York were breached. All told, the Justice Department said 27 U.S. attorney offices had at least one employee's email account compromised during the hacking campaign. The Justice Department said in a statement that it believes the accounts were compromised from May 7 to December 27. Such a time frame is notable because the SolarWinds campaigns, which infiltrated dozens of private sector companies and think tanks, as well as at least 9 U.S. government agencies, was first discovered and publicized in mid-December. The Biden administration in April announced sanctions, including the expulsion of Russian diplomats in response to SolarWinds hack and Russian interference in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Russia has denied wrongdoing. Jennifer Rogers, a lecturer at Columbia Law School, said office emails frequently contained all sorts of sensitive information, including case strategy discussions and names of confidential informants. When she was a federal prosecutor in New York, she says, I don't remember ever having someone bring me a document instead of emailing it to me because of security reasons, she said, noting exceptions for classified materials. So there you go. Lot more Russian hacking. And then the second biggest story at this very moment is that Telegram's latest update adds group video calls of up to 1,000 users with 30 simultaneous broadcasts, video messages, screen sharing during video calls, and more. This update takes video to the next level. Group video calls now have up to 1,000 viewers. Video messages record in higher quality. And let's have a look. And I'm going to tweet this out for your convenience at the Tech News Twitter account, as always. And now looking at their own website, it says group video calls now have up to 1,000 viewers. So I guess that's you and a group of friends can have 1,000 listeners. Okay. Video messages record in higher quality. Regular videos may be watched at half speed or double speed. We also added screen sharing with sound to all video calls, including one-to-one calls. So you can use it as a replacement for Zoom, basically, or Skype, or whatever. And the benefit of Telegram is that it's supposed to be more secure. And on the issue of group video calls, it's calling it Group Video Calls 2.0. Group Video Calls allows up to 30 users broadcast video from both their camera and screen. And now 1,000 people can watch anything from online lectures to live rap battles. But that's very similar to what we do here. We normally have about 30 people on stage. And, now we can have up to 1,000 people listening to. So it could be an interesting, somebody could essentially do a version of a clubhouse room in that context, I guess. And it says they will keep increasing this limit until all humans on Earth can join one group call and watch us yodel in celebration.
That's silly.
Yeah. And
That's silly.
by design, video messages, video playback speeds. They're going big on video, screen sharing, precision drawing, passcode animations, password recovery, message sending animations, and a whole bunch of stuff for Telegram. So Telegram's ramping up. Okay. Third biggest story at this moment, digital bank Monzo reveals a loss of about $160 million for the year ended February, and says that the UK FCA is investigating it over potential money laundering breaches. Oh, good times. Digital lender suffers second going concern. Warning from auditors. Okay, next big one is about this from the LA Times. And oh my, this really should be the biggest story because my God, everyone is talking about this one, including the LA Times. The headline from the LA Times is a new book claims Elon Musk demanded to be made Apple CEO during Tesla buyout talks of Apple buying Tesla in 2016 before Tim Cook cursed and hung up. Musk says he never spoke to Cook. Cook hasn't commented, but Musk has taken to Twitter and repeatedly said, here's exactly what happened. We tried to set up a meeting and Tim declined. And he's now tweeted that multiple times. And
for sure, Elon will have been the CEO of Apple if it will have happened.
Not necessarily, because maybe they could have done. I don't think he would have, honestly, because Elon isn't skilled up. It would take Elon quite a while to learn everything that's going on in the Apple universe with that many products and that many teams and that size of a team and blah 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 blah. I think, and even by the way, Elon even says in a tweet, in all fairness, Tim's doing an obviously good job. He says Cook is, all things considered, obviously doing an incredible job. He felt the need to tweet that out, it kind of denying the fact that he would even think that. So it's such a huge.
Let's talk about this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So first of all, it sounds like an episode from a real world dating thing. Like he wanted me, no, he wanted me, right? It's really.
Yeah.
I'm hearing weird.
Oh, it might be me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. But there's more power in the organizations being separate for obvious reasons. I mean, it just makes more sense. So I can't imagine that it would make sense for these companies to even combine like that. I mean, they're in very different markets, serving customers in different ways. And Apple's actually, trying to build a car or working on some autonomous technologies. So
I think it started. I have memories around that, which is as soon as it became obvious that Apple was working on a car, which was around 2016, and Elon learned of it because of the talent of the engineers. There's a kind of limited number of individuals that would get involved in the Apple car, and they're obviously going to recruit some of those folks from Tesla, and they were both trying to recruit individuals from other companies. And the person that Tesla's trying to recruit says, oh, well, I just got an offer from Apple. And so Tesla was one of the first people to learn that Apple was clearly working on something based on the early recruitment efforts to build that team to do it. And I think also in 2016, that was Tesla was going through a super rough time at that moment because they had just lost my friend Peter, was the chief product officer and head of supply chain, and he left to go start Northvolt. And that was internally